أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. So we have been going through the story of Noah, the flood. We were studying from chapter Hud, the 11th chapter, and last week we studied up to verse number 39. So today, inshallah, we will start from verse 40. So verse 40 is حتى إذا جاء أمرنا وفارت النور قل نحمل فيها من كل زوجين اثنين وأهلك إلا من سبق عليه القول ومن آمن وما آمن معه إلا قليل. So now, last time we studied 4 verses, and they were about building of the ark. And very briefly remembering what we discussed last time. So the Creator was saying that, and we revealed unto Noah and this was revealed unto Noah, never will any of your people believe except those who have already attained to faith. Be not then distressed by anything that they may do, but build under our eyes or under our watching over you, and according to our revelation, the ark. And do not appeal to me in behalf of those who are bent on evil doing, for behold, they are destined to be drowned. While studying these 2 verses, last time we taught that the way we were taking those verses, so it's talking about me, and I have several different aspects within myself. And we were taking it as if there's a good side of me, bad side of me, just for the ease of explanation. And let's say my good side is explaining things to my other bad sides, which doesn't really want to accept the truth as truth. So after a point, now the Creator says, the other side is not going to understand from that language that you are speaking of. So then the flood is going to come and clean it up. But so for that, you build up a ark, and the ark was supposed to be made under the guidance of the revelation, and by I should be knowing, the Creator says, that I'm watching over you, so you are not by yourself. Then verse 38 was, and so Noah set himself to building the ark, and every time the great ones of his people, the chiefs, passed by him, they ridiculed him, and they said, oh no, he said, if you are ridiculing us, behold, we are going to ridicule you, just you are ridiculing us now. We talked about this last time in long, so I'm not getting into details. And then Noah continued saying that in time you will come to know who it is that in this world shall be visited by suffering, which will cover him with shame, and upon whom long-lasting suffering shall alight. So after this setup, now comes verse 40. And the verse 40's translation is, and so it went on till when our judgment or when our command came to pass, and waters gushed forth in torrents over the face of the earth. We said, place on board of this one pair of each of either sex. Within parentheses, the translator puts one pair of each kind of animal of either sex, as well as your family, except those on whom our sentence has already been passed, and all others who have attained to faith. For only a few of Noah's people shared his faith. Okay, so let's discuss this verse. حتى إذا جاء أمرنا وفارت النور. Our command came, until our command came, and waters gushed forth. This is the first part of the verse. We can talk about what is it that, what is the significance of this water gushing forth? What does it mean that the command comes, and as if the imagery in here is water is just gushing forth from earth. And then قُلْ نَحْمِلْ فِيهَا مِنْ كُلِّ زَوْجَيْنِ اثْنَيْنِ. And this part of the verse which says take or carry two of each sex or each gender. So what does this mean in my personal life? What does it mean to get onto the ship with using let's say the metaphor or the translation of the translator, two of each animal, then some of my family members and the believers. What does it mean to take them to the ship as well? So these are the major 3 points that I see in here. So let's discuss starting from the first one. My personal life, what does it mean that when the command comes, water gushes forth?
Here says the oven overflowed, my translation.
So it's about this word fara tanuru. So tanur is it means oven, but also in Arabic literature it was used for the earth. So this is because fara is a word. One of the commentators was saying that it's a word that is used for water, and tanur is a word used for oven. So like apparently two contradictory words are being used in here. But one of the commentators said that this tanur, the word tanur, is metaphorically used in the literature for earth, art. So when you take this meaning of the word, and water gushing forth from earth, I guess this is how it would be translated. So the way I see this is putting the discussion to the framework that we were discussing it last week. So things are going somewhat okay in my life. If we consider the imagery that is being depicted here. So Noah telling his people about truth, and they reject. But they are living their good lives. But there's some sort of a conflict in there. Noah is seeing that there's something wrong with this behavior of the chiefs of the town or the community, and he's inviting them to truth. But they are mocking him, and apparently they are seeing him as if he's like a lunatic or something like that, and they are living their lives in a stable condition. But then after the word to be spoken is finished, the Creator says, okay, now it is time for the second stage to start, and then water gushes forth. So I guess in my personal life, I'm trying to convince my other side, saying that, for instance, you shouldn't be boasting, you shouldn't be thinking that you are having any of those qualities that you are claiming to have. So, for example, when somebody tells me how good I am, if my faces are just changing with a smile, and it happens in a split second. Let's say you start telling good things about me, what is my immediate reaction to that? If I am starting to smile, that means actually I liked it. Because after thinking about it, maybe for after 1 or 2 seconds, I might say that no, I shouldn't be smiling because this and that. But it happens that internally I tend to like it. Sometimes maybe I'm just trying to cover up this feeling by just saying, no, stop for why I'm not whatever. But truly, it might be from inside. Uh, I really think that actually I have some good qualities which belong to me, and they are good because of me. So I'm trying to, let's say, educate my other side, my this side, by saying that, do you really own them? And it happens that there are a lot of sides, at least in my case, that I couldn't educate. So then something starts happening in my life, some sort of a, uh, in this case, the calamity is a flood. Something of equivalent of a flood happens or starts happening, water gushes forth. So in this case, I guess the flood that is being explained in here might be a calamity of, it might be like, I guess easiest would be some sickness, or what else? Some problems in job environment, war in the bigger scale, things like that.
War in a small scale with your wife.
Yeah, at home, some fights with wife, with friends. So a lot of things. So these can be like floods in this case. So what does it mean then? That I mean, if you would like to add anything to that, please go ahead. Uh, if not, how about the next part? So this sheep, putting animals, people, family to the sheep. What does that mean? Ship, sorry. Go ahead, please. How would you take anybody to the ship with you?
From one aspect, it sounds like Creator tells me how to save others. Like this is, I guess, the first reading. There will be a flood, so save all these animals. You can also save some of your family and some believers, and then the earth would be yours. But on the other side, I guess, when I look at it from my perspective, I mean, it's scary that the flood is coming. And I need to be saved as well from the flood. So I guess it is also possible to read it as take them to save yourself, to survive the flood. Because flood will certainly destroy something, some part of you, as you said. And like putting into context, as you explained, so there are certain things about me. There are certain aspects, or uh, like I have this personality which I'm not happy with, right, as a whole. And I know that one day a flood will come to cleanse it, because I know that my Lord, my sustainer, does not leave me alone. If I have a problem, he sends me his angels to help me. So I'm waiting for this flood. I'm praying for this flood to come, to cleanse. But at the same time, I'm scared, like, am I going to survive the flood? How am I going to survive the flood? Will be anything left of me after the flood? Or would it be in the same way that it happened to the previous nations, as Quran says, which is like a destroyed entirely? Let's say. Am I going to be destroyed as this way? And then the Creator says, take these, pairs and part of your family and other believers with you. And I guess with this second reading, we can also take it as this is your way to survive the flood, because you will utilize them, you will use them. Whatever you see in these pairs, whatever you see in your family relationships, whatever you see with other believers, or all the things in you that look for the creative face, like a believers inside me. So they are the ones, who will help you survive the flood.
So when so we are studying the story of Noah from Quran. So we are reading Surah Hud, verse number 40. So if you would like to play that from your phone. So last time when we were talking about how he made the ship was made in the gaze of the Creator and also with revelation. So while studying this one, we said that a flood is going to come. It didn't come yet, and the example that we gave at the time was, let's say you are studying in the college, things are pretty much fine for you, but graduation is over the corner. Within 2 or 3 years, you're going to graduate, and the way of life is waiting you right there. So what sort of a ship shall I build so that once I graduate, for example, I'm not going to get drowned? So Revelation is in this case telling me that I'm going to teach you how to build up a ship which is going to protect you, which is going to float. When the flood comes, it's going to float while it's going to drown other people. It's going to make you float and protect you from the flood. So, and also in another chapter again, which talks about this same story. It says that Noah made the ship with nails and wood. So it's also giving us that detail. Like ships are made up of wood and nail. Why is he giving us this extra information? Because and since we are not reading it for historical background of what really happened back in the day, so one way to read it is, what am I going to use to make this ship? And the other one is also inside the ship, what am I going to take with me to there? So when I see this, the verse now we are studying, when it says take the couples into the ship. So it sounds to me like including also the nail and the wood extra information. I'm going to take things from this existence itself that's going to accompany me in this, in saving me from the trouble. Because, for instance, here, this brother is coming from far, far away, and he's just starting college. So there are 5 years in front of you now, right? You're going to do 5 years study or 4 years? It depends. Okay, so we will see. So, but it's for you, it's a totally unknown future for now. Like 4 or 5 years is going to be a tough 4 or 5 years. But after it, what's going to happen? Are you going to stay here, go back to your country? Are you going to be able to find a job? If you find a job, how about marriage? Your two elder brothers didn't get married yet. What's going to happen with you? All such problems.
So this is Khalid's brother?
Yeah. So such problems are waiting in front of you, and you are in need of, like, if somebody comes and gives you some sort of a, no worries, I covered you. You are in good hands. It would be perfect, right? If somebody gives you such assurance. But who is this person? Is there such a person who can guarantee you? Because your father and mother cannot guarantee. I mean, I know both your father and mother. So although they are very nice people, like I am pretty sure they have a very nice friend circle around them. In terms of their wealth, they're okay. I mean, they're not in a hard condition, but still, they cannot guarantee finding you a job or finding you the right spouse or anything like that. But these are the troubles that are waiting for you. How do you know? Because it's a trouble for Khalid already, right? You are going to become Khalid 5 years later. So the problem is waiting for you. So if there is a way for you to make a plan from now so that once you graduate, you're not going to go through a similar trouble. Or, I mean, I'm exaggerating it. It's not a trouble maybe for Khalid, but just extrapolate it. There are such things happening in life. So if there was a way that I'm going to take some measures, like do something from now, so that after I graduate, I'm not going to get drowned as if, oh, I am dying, save me. So that means I am in need of a security. So it must be some solid foundation. I don't want to say that, let's say, now today you're going to get introduced with this man, and at the end of the discussion, maybe he's going to tell you that no worry, no worry, I will find you a job, I will find you a spouse. So is it going to give you any security? Like this guy, I mean, look at him. So I would like to get some sort of a answer, but a secure answer. It cannot be just like, well, I hope or I wish, or at least you can say that, oh yeah, this guy I saw yesterday, he's going to do it, so no worries, now I can go and play soccer, whatever. It doesn't work like this. So in this case, Creator is saying that first make the ship with the revelation, and in another part says he made the ship with wood and nails. First of all, wood and nail are things by themselves, they do not make a ship. But if you put them together and you take them from ground, from earth, all of them otherwise going to be under the flood, but you take them and put them in a proper place and they make a ship. So there are things which is going to save you from this flood, which are around you in this existence. So you can collect them now and make a ship that is secure for you, which means security is going to be based on what you can collect from what you observe around you right now.
I guess this also clarifies our feeling, our desire to gather, collect wealth, or I'm not trying to say that it's a good thing to do, but we have these desires. We want to build something which will secure us, which will protect us. And as you said, some people do it from woods and nails and succeed. Some others try to do it with gold, silver, money, whatever, power, and get drowned. Because silver and gold will, pull you down when there's a flood. But wood and nail, as you said, put together properly, float you on the water. So we have this feeling, we have this desire, which is a guidance from our Creator, so that we get ready when we prepare ourselves, or we, as you said, like using the things around us in a right way, so that they will serve us rather than they drown us.
So, for example, if you see that this same gentleman finds another man over here, job, secures his job, finds the right spouse for this person, and you observe this. Then to another person, he does the same. To a third person, he does the same. He's a matchmaker, not only a matchmaker, but also a job finder. So you see that it keeps happening 5 times, 10 times. And at the end of the discussion, he tells you that, don't worry, I got you. Now, is it going to give you more of a security than previous case? Because you saw that he's doing something, right?
Yeah.
And you saw that this guy found the job, the other guy found the job, everybody found the job because of him. So now you are secure in terms of, because you know him through his actions. It's not only by his word. In the first case, it was only by his word. He said that I got you, but it's just a word. But now that you see him in action, you are secure in terms of, you said that, yeah, this guy has the capacity to do it. So in this existence, for example, what is my worry after graduation? Am I going to be able to find a job? Am I going to be able to find this, that, some worries about future? How about if I look at today, what is happening to me, for instance? I am being fed with food, with air, or let's say you are now in a school, which it's something maybe much better than what many of your friends are going to. So somebody gave you this school. So how did you get this school in the first place? Or how are you getting the food in the first place that you eat? Like the food is coming out of earth, right? You just pour water to earth, it becomes mud. You put a seed into this mud, and then comes out tomato. So where did this tomato come from? This dirt and water and sun. Did they make you this beautiful food? Because tomatoes are beautiful food, right? So who made this beautiful food? Is it the dirt made it for you? So
A lot of action.
a lot of actions. For example,
The air,
yeah,
soil.
sun, air, and the soil, right? All of them. So does any of them know you, love you? Because think of it this way, just a little bit backtracking, but I guess it makes sense to make such a comment at this point. So let's say you went home and tired today after the discussion, you go home, you turn the switch on, you see a pie over the table, like a chocolate cake. So
His word exactly. Oh, on the table you said?
that's just for the sake of argument. let's assume today was your birthday, just to make it more interesting. You turn the switch on, you saw that there's this chocolate cake, and you love chocolate cake, and it's made with exact recipe that you love most. And you see that your name is written on it, and there are candles of your age, they are all there. So what's going on here? What or who made this? So in your house, there is floor. In your house, there is a book for how to make chocolate cake. In your house, even let's assume you have a little dog jumping, happy because you came home. So what would you think? Who made this cake? Would you say that
Not the dog.
not the dog for sure? Okay. Why dog doesn't do it? Why did you say that dog didn't do it?
Because he can't.
He can't. Why?
Doesn't have brains.
Yeah, he doesn't have the knowledge to do it, right? But the knowledge was in the book. So can book do it? So how about combining book and dog? Is it going to make it? Because knowledge is there, power is there, dog is jumping. So sort of maybe we need power, we need knowledge. Combining them, is it going to make the cake? Not really. Flour is there, like in your kitchen, there's sugar, there's flour, there is milk. Flour. So also no. Okay. So then what do you expect? What sort of a thing can make this cake for you? So, for example, if I tell you that whoever made this cake must be knowing you, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Because your birthday was today and the recipe that you like most is there. So the person must be knowing you. The person must be loving you as well. What do you think? Because if I'm your enemy, why would I make you a gift of, and other than, of course, poisoning you, whatever. But assuming that it's a proper chocolate cake, somebody is willing to show his or her love to you. This is why they made this cake, right? So the one who made this cake must be able to know how to make a cake. This is why you said dog cannot do it, right? Knowledge is required. The one who made the cake must be able to move or feel doing something. Because the book, for example, although the knowledge was there, but it didn't have the ability to move or will to do something, right? So you combine all of these and you see that dog cannot be. So in one hand, you put all these requirements, knowledge, love, power, wisdom, everything here. On the other hand, dog cannot do it. Book cannot do it. Floor cannot do it, right? Any of them do not do it. But if we put your mother here, yeah, she will do it, right? Now it scales, it fits. Come back to the tomato. So who made the tomato? Tomato is perfectly for your taste. You like it. To your eyes, its color is beautiful, its texture is beautiful. When you just bite it, its feeling is good. Everything is good about the tomato. And now whoever made the tomato must be knowing your taste, what you like. Must be loving you because prepared this beautiful tomato for you. Because you go and take it, and nobody is just taking it from your hand, right? It stays with you. But now look at what we think is doing tomato. Earth, sun, water, seed. Does any of them has those qualities? So who makes tomato? So there must be someone who makes tomato other than seed, because seed cannot make it. Seed is just like the book in your house. In the example, there was the book, right? Seed is just like the book. Earth is just like the flower. Wind or sun is like the dog. It's jumping up and down. It has some sort of a power but it cannot do so. But still, you are sure that somebody who knows me, who loves me, must exist because I have tomato. Tomato is being made, right? So going back to how we started this. Today, you are being given a tomato. Somebody who loves you gives a tomato to you. Somebody who takes care of you, who says that, Usama, I got you, don't worry. Today I will feed you. And he fed you today. And you are worried about how you are going to be fed 5 years later. But if I am sure that today I am fed by someone who didn't have to feed me at all, but still he fed me. Yesterday he fed me. Actually, for the past 18 years, 19 years, he fed you. Longer than yours, he fed me. And I experienced, so I am sure, like you observed him finding job to 10 people, and you said that, yeah, if I see him finding job to 10 people, I'm going to feel secure about him if he tells me that I'm going to find job for you too. Now, look at your past 19 years. Somebody told you and showed you that I am feeding you. Look at the tomato, look at the banana, look at the cow, look at the milk that you drink. Where did they come from? Who gave them to you? So this is what I take to ship with me. I am collecting things from existence, like the lamb meat that I like. And I say that lamb meat is not made by grass. Lamb meat is made by someone who knows me, who loves me, who knows my taste, who wants to be known. So if I eat the lamb and say that, oh, I am very thankful, somebody is watching over me, somebody is taking care of me. When you were home, your mom was, I am pretty sure, feeding you quite well, right? She was cooking the best food for you. And then you were home, let's say in the morning you're playing soccer, whatever. Were you ever worried that when I go home, I'm going to be hungry, no food at home? Never, because you know that your mother will cook the best food anyways, because she kept cooking the best food for the previous whatever years. So you are 100% sure, no worries at all. Tonight she's going to cook the best food as well, right? So who had been feeding you so far in your life? Air comes to your nose, right? Air is the best food actually we eat or we smell. Where is it coming from? It's even coming to here, right? So I have been fed with air for so many years. I'm not worried if somebody is going to give me air next moment. I am so sure, right? So now expand this. 5 years later, are you going to be able to be fed? The one that fed me so far will feed me anyways. So I'm not worried about this as if, oh, what's going to happen? So what did I put into my ship now? Actually, I put tomato into my ship. I put the lamb into my ship because I ate lamb so far, and I know that the provider of lamb, it's an experience that I am sure it gives me security, my experience with lamb meat, and I know that it was being given by Eternal One, the Creator. So I said, oh, okay, as long as lamb meat is there, He will keep giving me lamb meat, I'm sure. No worries. Right? Because going back to our very first example, if it was this gentleman, you would put him into your ship, or he found job to him, put it into your ship, or he found job for this other person also, put it into your ship. These are your proofs, if you like, for the answering your own problem. Is he going to give me job? Is he going to find me job? Here is my evidence. Here is my evidence. All of them were in my ship. So when this verse says, collect tuples, like the pairs from existence, put them into your ship, means that look at the order in the existence. Because pairs in here to me reminds me of the order in existence. Everything are created in pairs. Put them into your ship, and this is what that will give you this security. When the flood comes, this will give you the security that you're looking for. And I guess there might be an extended meaning for this pairs, which is the one we talked about was more of a practical one. But when it comes to this one, it is in the existence there are everything is created in opposites. So when there is beauty, then there is ugliness. With ugliness, I know that beautiful is beautiful. So by observing those opposites in this existence, I am understanding the beautiful actually. So by combining these names, like the names of those things from existence, which are opposites, I get to conclude about the absolute. For example, how do I know that God is the most powerful? We say that he is the most powerful, but how do I know that? And if I know that there exists a God who is the most powerful and who is watching over me, I have no worries, right? But how do I arrive to this conclusion? He is the most powerful. So I observe weaknesses in the existence, like myself, for instance. I am incapable of doing anything truly. I am willing to move my hand, but I only will. I don't know the rest of it. I don't know how I am moving this hand, for example. Are you going to study engineering? Mathematics. Oh, that's nice. So, like moving this simple movement, I don't know the details of what is being done in here. So let's take its mathematical part. Forget about the engineering part of it, but let's take the mathematical part of it. So in order to make this move, for instance, this joint, this joint, this joint, all they are moving, right? Mm-hmm. So there are however many ways to raise this hand into this position. But I want to arrive to here, but I arrive there using this most optimal way. For example, I could have moved there like this. This would be another way to go there. But I'm doing it in a most optimal way. So what is the equation for this? If I ask you to come up with an equation that optimally moves this object from here to here, you will need to spend a good night over it to come up with a optimization problem, solve it. I guess they call it inverse kinematics, whatever this was. This was the name it was given for graphics. But I do it always. Without knowing how this works, I do it. How do I do it without knowing it? So I just will to do it and it is being taken care of. So although I am in need of doing it, I am observing that it is being done, but it's not me who is doing it. So this opposites now the need for power, and I observe power being manifest and knowledge being manifest. On the other hand, I know that I don't have the knowledge of how to do this, and I don't have the power to do this. Combining these two, these opposites, I come to a conclusion that there must exist an all-powerful one, because I am not the source of this action. My muscles are not the source of this action. Nothing in here is. the door of this action. So there must be an absolute powerful one. So I guess this might be another aspect of taking heirs from existence into the ship. And what do you think about taking from family and other believers? So this family is previously we have been taking this believers and yeah, we talked about believers so far, not the family part of it last week, right? And for the believers, we were taking it as if I am like a town, and in me there are those chiefs which doesn't want to believe, like human is like a town. There are some others in me, within me, which is like the Noah in this case, who says this is the truth. And everybody has such a thing in themselves, right? Like it's called conscience, wijdan. You know the word wijdan? So everybody has this conscience, and it tells people what is right, what is wrong. So this aspect in human, like Noah in this story, keeps reminding. Let's say, don't make fun of people. I might be a person who loves making fun of others. I want to be the coolest guy in the classroom. I just mock everybody. Everybody laughs, and I'm just the coolest, whatever. There is something in me which says, don't do that. This is bad. It keeps saying this, but I just don't listen to it. So in this case, we can take this as believers in me are the ones that listens to that prophet, this messenger. What is it that there is this family that he is talking about? Okay.
Where is the map?
Downstairs, just under this room. Okay. So can it be that in this sort of a thing, if we take myself as a whole, as the society in this story, the ones that I call family are the ones that I consider nearer or more dear to me. There are some things that are still, we are from the same larger family of the society, but they're not as near to me. Can it be that, for example, when I think about me, I say, okay, the qualities that defines me are those 5 things. Although I might be a good bike driver, I'm not considering it as one of my distinguishing qualities. So it's not it's not from the family. I don't consider it from family. But when it comes to, I don't know, like the most kind husband on earth.
Oh, I thought you were talking about yourself. Not talking about me.
No. So life is now on the other side of the screen, so I just want to say hi to
It's you. Of course, it's you. That's the
you. For example, I might be considering this from family, something that defines me. And as if now in here, Creator says, take some of the people from your family to the ship as well, but not some others that you think are from family, but they're not really from family. And there are some others that are not from your family, to your understanding, but still they are among believers. I might be finding my creator when biking, like since I gave this irrelevant example. But there might be some aspects of my life which I don't see that close to myself. But at those moments of my life, when I am practicing this aspect of myself, maybe I am with my creator. I don't have any issues with this aspect. It might be that whenever I cook, I truly find my creator. But whenever I code, maybe I am considering that I am the best coder on earth. It's a quality of mine. So I define myself as a coder, so it is from family. But since I'm attributing it to myself, it shouldn't be taken to the ship. Because I was worried about what's going to happen to me in the future. And in the future, that means there's no security in there. I do not have the power for securing my need, yet I claim to be the best of something, which is a contradictory thing. So it shouldn't be really taken to the ship. Okay. And then, وَمَا آمَنَ مَعَهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. And this last part of the verse is, and the ones that were believers with him were really small in numbers, not much.
If you take it as you said, the parts of you that make you take you closer to the creator, it's just these parts. It's not that many.
Although potentially the whole society, and this was actually the purpose of the messenger, to invite all of them to truth, but most of them didn't come. And if I ask myself, what moments of my life am I finding my creator with? And the reason that I say moments is because every single part of my life, I might be utilizing slightly different aspects of me. So sometimes utilizing my intellect, sometimes utilizing my love, sometimes caring for someone, sometimes, I don't know. All these different aspects, am I finding the true source of all those feelings at those moments, or am I just feeling more and more important on behalf of myself? I am so good at this. I am so caring father. I am so lovely a husband. All of them attributing it to myself. So how many of my moments are insecurity? Like amana, the word in here, if we take it as finding security, finding its true source. So now, verse number 41. Any comments that you would like to add? وقال اركبوا فيها بسم الله مجراها ومرساها إن ربي لغفور رحيم. So he said, embark in this ship. In the name of God be its run and its riding at anchor. Behold, my sustainer is indeed much forgiving, a dispenser of grace. So now this messenger is telling to like the payers, family members, and the believers, telling them that, okay, get on the ship. But in the name of Allah, in the name of God, get on the ship. This is what he says. But also there's this interesting part. Embark in this ship in the name of God, be its run and its riding at anchor. What does this remind you of? Why is he mentioning this run and its anchor? Bismillahi majraha wa mursaha.
Keep it true.
And yes, one of them is the beginning of it, or majraha is the way it goes, right? Majraha. And mursaha, the translation says it's anchor, land sort of, yeah, the ship stop. So what does it mean that he said that now the messenger says bi ismi Allah majraha wa mursaha? What does it mean?
Means God will go through water.
And it will stop. Okay. So in our example, let's say in your example, you are now starting the college and you are trying to, now you should start making your ship because there's no sea right now, no flood, no nothing. Your money is coming from, are you government scholarship or your father? Government. Okay, so your money is coming, everything is good for you now. Nothing to worry about, right? Except school. So but now in the story, you're pretty much like Noah. So there's no flood, no nothing. But then Creator tells you that start building a ship. Ship requires water to float, but there is no ship in the middle of your, let's say, garden. You are starting to build a ship. Are you nuts? Are you good? So still you have 5 years, 4 years to finish college. But Creator says, start building your ship. And let's say you started building the ship as we have been discussing so far. What would it mean for you to say that Bismillahi majraha wa mursaha to the ship that you built? What would it mean that you say, in the name of God, should this ship start riding or go on its way and will stop properly? Mm-hmm. So, yes, what would in the name of God mean in here then? What does in the name of God means? It's tough, right? What do you think, Abdurrahman? Help us.
So I don't know if it will help, but what I understand in part, this is so you start with the name of God, you start your course and then you end it. So in life, you start many things or things that are starting and also they are ending. And in both of them, you should realize that the one who started it is also the one that's ending it. It's not that, let's say, for example, he helped you get into the school and now by yourself you conquer it and it's you who's conquering it. No, you got into it, and if you do get out of it, it's because of him. He ended it, or if you can't get out of it, again, it's because of him, I guess. Even if he like puts like blocks in your way. So in everything from start to end, there's in the name of God, we realize that it's not you, but rather it's from God.
A question to you, since you are the first comer coming for the first time, all question comes to you. So in the ship, your country has a shore, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so you know ships. So how does ship float in the water?
Right?
Because it's light, or it's called, the water is pushing it up. It's called buoyancy. So like as if there's this power in water which pushes it. Is it water that really pushes the ship up? Why? Why not?
She can't make the motion forward.
Elaborate? Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
So we stay. So we stay. Don't move by itself.
So
Yeah, I don't know how to.
why it doesn't do that though? Let's again think about it a little bit in detail. So there is this again formula of how if I drop this into water, what happens? If I put a ship on the water, what happens? There is this formula that we have, which is called buoyancy, how the water is acting. Each and every time, water is acting in this way, right? And it's a certain way of behavior. We have equations and, I don't know, different observations for it. Water can float objects. Water, if you like send light into it, light comes like this and gets refracted, keeps going like this, right? Or it gets reflected. So water can do a lot of things actually. So knowledge is required again, going back to our same story with the earth for giving us tomato. So the water requires making a decision each and every time. Let's say a light comes, shall this light go this way or this way in the water? Let's say somebody comes from this door, shall we let him in or kick him out? So we need to make a decision. If whoever comes from inside here, and if we show them the best seat, it's our choice. Whoever comes from this door gets beaten down, it's again our choice. So somebody is making this choice, right? So ship, you put it over the water, it keeps floating. So a choice is being made, and it's being made in a proper way, like with this formula. So does water know this? Does water have the knowledge to do it, or the will to do it the same way each and every time? This is how the water is behaving in Kuwait. This is how it is behaving in New York. So the same water, as if, but they're different water. Kuwait's water is different than New York's water, but still the same formula, same pattern of behavior. So we say that it cannot be water who is floating this ship. If it is not water, then who is floating the ship? So there must be an all-powerful one who is giving existence to water. In other words, who creates water and who floats ship on it. That means the one that gives existence to water is the one that floats the ship. So in this story, Noah made the ship with the guidance of revelation. But this verse says, in this verse, Noah says, although I made the ship with the guidance of the revelation, it's not me who is going to float it. And it's not water who is going to float it either. Bi-ismi Allah, in the name of God, it will float, meaning that God floats the water. So coming back to your example, you are making your ship, making your preparation for after graduation. And you graduated from university. You put everything into your ship, your convictions and everything. Then starts the job search, starts the search for the ideal spouse. Then you say, Bismillahi majraha wa mursaha. In the name of God, this ship will float. And in the name of God, meaning that the creator who created me, who keeps creating me, will make me float through these waves. It's not me who is going to go through this. Because there is this saying, if something doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. It's exactly the opposite of what Noah is saying in here, actually. So, as if you fight with something, you try to overcome it. If it cannot kill you, then that means you are now stronger. You put something on yourself more. Next time you are going to fight better because you become stronger. In here, Noah is aware that although apparently I made the ship, I don't own anything, any credit for myself. I cannot float the ship either. He is the one who floats the ship. He is the one who is going to take this ship to its destination. You start a marriage, you say that, okay, up until I start marriage, I collected good of a mindset, personality. I'm convinced about my creator, this and that. And now I'm confident that this marriage will go good. Look, all the things that I did so far, all the convictions that I arrived so far, meaning that I made the ship. So I'm a firm believer in our example. And I am now proud of my belief, which shouldn't be there, like the contradiction. And I say that with this belief, I will go through this. But again, I am relying on myself. Alternatively, what Noah is saying in here is I should be mindful, conscious of the Creator is going to make me float through the waves of life. Because when the marriage goes or when you are at job, it's not always like red carpet. There are going to be ups and downs. So he is the one that's going to walk me through these ups and downs, and is going to, as he starts and floats the ship, he is going to make me arrive to the destination in peace, in security. Then this verse interestingly finishes with Inna Rabbi laghafurur rahim. Indeed, my sustainer, my Lord, is much forgiving, most merciful. Why is he now talking about forgiving and merciful in here?
For people chance.
So, in your condition, you graduated from university, let's assume, and at that point you say that, let's say you are about to start marriage or you are about to start work. We are now putting ourselves in the position of Noah. And at this position, you say that this marriage will go through with my creator making me go through this. This job will go through. I'm going to be fine with this job as my creator makes me go through this job. And at the end of it, he is most forgiving and most merciful. In this context, how does it fit? What I am in need of, or who is in need of forgiveness and mercy at such a position? Any comments?
We don't do mistakes.
We don't do mistakes.
Never truly believe in can with our mistakes, we need mercy.
Very good, actually. So when I am getting on this marriage, let's say, or when I'm getting on this job, so I say that my creator is going to float my ship in here. But in life, I will keep making mistakes. So I am not saying that I am perfect. And I am in need of, because I do make mistakes. Although I put something into this ship, time to time, I'm betraying the things that I put into the ship. Meaning that at some point, I arrive to the conclusion that my creator is the provider. But at some point, I am pretending as if I am provider. I am betraying my previous conclusion. At such moments, I guess, I am very much in need of forgiveness, meaning that, oh, I did a mistake, clean me from this. And I am in need of this realization of oh, my maker showed me that I made this mistake, and merciful. Any comments before we pass to 42?
Maybe we can also take the last part of the verse as so he's talking about a journey that we take with the sheep. And we now know, we learned that the journey that we take is under the supervision of the Creator. When the sheep goes, it goes by the name of God, in the name of God. When it stops in the name of God. So when I start something new in my life, as I start a university, I know that the journey that I'm taking is in the name of God. Meaning, whatever happens to me in this journey, it will be chosen and created by God. Nothing is by mistake, or nothing is by chance. Whatever happens to me in this sheep will happen because God wishes so. It happens because He decrees so. And when this journey ends, it will end because, again, He wishes so. And I guess at the end, He says, also, you taking this journey, all these things will happen to you. You will change. Sometimes you will be happy, sometimes you will be sad. Sometimes you will gain whatever you want, sometimes you will lose what you were wishing for. But everything will happen because He is most forgiving and merciful, because He is trying to put you in a better shape. He's giving you a chance to be forgiven through this journey. And whatever happens to you, it will happen because He's the most merciful. So I will be sick, for instance, sometimes. He says, oh, you are sick because He is most merciful. This is the best thing what can happen to you, being sick. One day I will be failed in my class. He says, this is out of mercy. This is out of forgiveness. Whatever happens to you in this journey, it's out of forgiveness, it's out of mercy.
Contradictory on the surface, right? Because a calamity is coming. Actually, they're right in the middle of calamity. And in this case, the messenger is saying that, looking at the calamity, he says, once you see the calamity, what would you say? I guess the last thing to say at such a moment is, He is most forgiving and most merciful. If He forgave, why did He give this calamity? If He is merciful, why is He giving this calamity?
I guess we say, like, as a believer, like, the first thing comes to our minds, oh, God is angry. He's the most angry one. But as you said, it's like he uses it just the opposite, like almost a contradictory way. He's the most forgiving one.
So, in a sense, maybe taking it from one aspect, the messenger in this case is aware, or my conscience is aware, that this flood is a manifestation, or is an opportunity for me for cleansing, for cleaning up, for forgiveness. And this flood, this calamity, hardship, is because of the mercy. Otherwise, if your college life continues, if government keeps paying you money without you doing anything for the government, what would you become? You just get payment from somewhere and you don't work, you don't do anything, because now you have to go back and work for your government, right? Let's assume this is not the case. Government says, here is money. Go and do something. And you ask, when I am going to pay it back? Don't worry. You go and after a point, you will just, even if you are a lazy student, let's say you get paid. Nobody is saying, no, if you don't work, I'm not going to pay you. You just get paid. At the end, I'm just going to become this lazy, useless person because nobody reminded me or shout at me when I was being lazy, when I was not properly studying as a student. Because as a student, I was supposed to work, learn, do something. So in this case, if somebody comes and angrily tells me something, no, you cannot waste your time. Go back and study. This is out of mercy. The messenger in this case is aware that out of their mercy, they are speaking me in an angry way. So this calamity, the hardship that comes, is because of mercy. And it's also a manifestation of cleansing, forgiving. Okay, we have 14 minutes. Okay, so there are interesting verses now. All of them are interesting, but these are getting more and more exciting. وهي تجري بهم في موج كالجبال ونادى نوح ابنه وكان في معزل يا بني اركب معنا ولا تكن مع الكافرين. So the ark floated with them on the waves towering like mountains. And Noah called out to his son, who had separated himself from the rest. O my son, embark with us, get on the ship with us, and be not with the unbelievers. I will also read the next verse. قال سآوي إلى جبل يعصمني من الماء قال لا عاصم اليوم من أمر الله إلا من رحم فحال بينهما الموج فكان من المغرقين. But the son answered, I will betake myself to some mountain. It will save me from the water. Noah said, this day nothing can save from the command of God any, but those on whom he has mercy. And the waves came between them, and the son was among those overwhelmed in the flood. It's a very tragic scene, right? So who is sun? What is mountainous waves? Mountain is being used twice in following verses. In the first verse, the waves are as big as mountains. Psalm says that I am going to besiege or get protected by a mountain. So mountains made up of water, the waves, and the mountain made up of a solid rock. Psalm says that I'm going to be protected by a mountain made up of rock. This is his understanding. And then the conversation between so Noah invites son. What does it mean that son is being invited to the ship? Son not coming, and then wave comes and takes him away, and he is drowned. So these are major points. Let's start from the waves. What do you think about the waves as large as mountains? Go ahead.
So ship going what is the word used for ships?
Sail.
Voyaging,
Sailing.
sailing.
Boiling.
Okay, then I mean you say voyaging because it's much of sailing. So I'm in the journey. My ship takes me somewhere, and this journey is not a quote unquote a peaceful one. Things happening around me. I'm going through all these waves as big as mountains. And I guess this is the way I live my life. This is the way the life happens to me, let's say. I see it that way. All these troubles, all these difficulties, all these big decisions upsets me. So should I, leave my country, come here, stay here? When do this, the action or response of my family is most of the time is as big as mountains. And then what will happen after I finish my school here? I'm going to go back to country, and everything I got used to here, the culture, my friends, losing them will be as big as mountains. Every class I take, every project I have to finish, they're as big as mountains when I'm in the moment. So life is definitely wavy, and the waves are definitely big. And also, like, when I continue my journey, I see that I'm getting older. So this trouble of getting older is most of the time is higher than mountains. You lose your vision, you lose your intellect, you lose, I don't know, everything. And then everything reminds, especially in this season, everything reminds you the path, which is running after a certain age, is not walking, but just running towards you, which is as big as mountains. You finish your school, you have to make decision about jobs. Should I take this job, that job? Should I stay in this job? They're all big as big as mountains.
And they are fluid, right? They are coming towards you, like a mountain, but that is moving towards you.
It's not like you see them and say that, okay, I will change my path. I will go somewhere else. No, they're coming to you. When I look at my work environment, I didn't choose the people I ever work with. And with every people, troubles as big as mountains comes to you. If I was to make the choice, at least I imagine, I would avoid such troublous relationships. They come to you. Everywhere you go, you will find an enemy waiting for you, as big as mountains.
And you want to, or a part of you does not get on the ship. And when you say get on the ship, this part says that no, I'm going to rely on this solid mountain. So as if, for example, his father is like a man, like a mountain, really. I mean, I know his father is a person.
I also met him. Is he the one invited Osman to the desert?
Yes.
Yes, I met him.
Okay.
So was it Ali? Was it Ali?
Okay.
Sorry? Muhammad. Okay.
So, like, this is how they say, for a man like a mountain means such a solid, strong man. So his father is like a mountain. And let's say a part of him says that I need to make a ship. But another part in him says that no worries, my father is behind me. My father is going to save me from troubles. My father is going to save me from the waves of finding a job, waves of finding a spouse, waves of when I am sick, he's going to look after me. And each and every one of us, I guess, have some sort of a backup plan. Somebody that in worst days, I'm going to rely on this person. And one part of me always says that no worries. If anything, this person or this thing, maybe my bank account, maybe my insurance company, whatever, something that is in my perception as solid as mountain, who can save me from this waves? Again, the waves are like mountains. But in practice, we see that a wave comes, enters between me and what I think would be as solid and protective to me and gets drowned. So I guess this, and we experience this. Whatever I trust most, you trust most. I guess everybody has this, say, regretful moment of, oh, this was the thing that I trust most, and it break up, it fell apart. It's as age progresses, we make a collection of such false mountains that we relied on at some point of our lives, which we eventually realize that uh, mountains do not save you from flood. Ship saves you from flood. Just a ship is a small ship saves you, but the ship is made up of within the guidance of uh, revelation and made up of as simple things as nail and wood saves you in the name of God, as we have been discussing. But a solid mountain, a huge solid mountain, doesn't save you, save me from flood. And we have this tendency. I want to uh, make a solid foundation somewhere as mountain, not like as a ship, but as a mountain which I can rely on. Yeah, I should buy this house so that I don't need to pay rent, so that if something happens in my work environment, at least I'm not going to be homeless, this and that, a lot of things. We make a lot of calculations here and there, thinking that this investment is going to protect me from when a huge wave comes, at least I have a house. At least I have a retirement plan account waiting there. Or I have 2, 3 kids. When I get old, at least they will look after me. So we are trying to build up or find such mountains. So we have 1.5 minutes. I mean, I guess there are a lot to discuss here, but maybe we can stop at this point and pick it up from here next time. Abdurrahman, you look like you have a comment to make. No?
That's what I would say. So, like, he usually goes with concluding remarks.
Yes.
Maybe we should have said them and then.
I have a comment, but it's not related to what you were saying.
Okay.
It's not related to the description you gave. Like for me,
Go ahead with your description.
I really enjoyed the story that we're studying right now. And like you said, it's a tiny little ship in the mountain of waves or a flood. And the part that really sticks with me that I'm really enjoying is you look out of the ship and you see a flood and you see something that looks terrifying and terrible. But I guess you need to look at where you are. You are on a ship that's making its way through that. And you shouldn't forget that. Like you see that, yes, there seems to be like a terrible flood, very strong and scary foot, but at the same time, you are on a ship. You are on the ship that is built with God's name and it's going with God's name. So you shouldn't forget that. That's my comment.
Exactly. So can we also say that, I mean, by not forgetting it, I should be content and thankful? Because Sam, in this example, was finding some sort of a security by the mountain, saying that he didn't choose to get on the ship, but said that I'm going to find security and peace in the mountain. So I should be happy, content, thankful for the ship, because in this mountainous waves, I am being protected. And I should be thankful, conscious about me being saved from all those mountainous waves, and be thankful for who is saving me or still surviving me in this mountainous wavy environment. I'll be thankful for that.
Since you break the promise and speak after him,
Oh yeah.
I should also say something.
So just build up something.
This whole thing also reminded me that, like, when you look at the story, what Sons does, it also seems reasonable, because there's this flood and all these mountain-sized waves around, and you're calling me to a ship that you built. So ship versus mountain. So it's reasonable to say, okay, mountain will save me. This is the same thing, like this is what happens in our lives. Like, we are in this trouble, we are in this journey, and all this troubles happen, and people will come and tell us that you should do this, you should do that, you should, surrender it to him or her, and they will save you, like mountains. Like, if you want to be successful, you should be good in networking, right? In college environment especially. You should be good in networking, you should, promote yourself, tell all your strengths, be with people who are, glittering, the big people, try to be part of them. Do not spend time with weak. Or try to cover your weakness. All these, the suggestions they will make, or all these suggestions we, invent. I should rely on this, I should rely on him, I should rely on her, because they're like mountains. But Quran says, no, mountains cannot save you. It will this sheep that you see as weak, it will save you. So do not lose yourself, as they say, in system. Just because everyone thinks mountain is a safe place to hide, just do not follow them. As Father says, do not be like unbelievers. Do not just follow them. Do not get lost in the system. Do not let these, what is it? Chunk. The clock has a lot of gears. Do not get squeezed, between the gears of the college environment, the system, because they will try to squeeze you and whatever.
With that, let's conclude for this week. But there's one thing that we didn't discuss, maybe more, but
his son was separated from the rest of them. So this is something that we should discuss also. Son was not among the unbelievers, as if he was different from them, but still he didn't choose to get on the ship. What does this point to in my life? But still it get drowned. So what does this mean? So let's pick it up from there next time, inshallah. Can you now conclude with our dua?
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن